There's so many things that we tell ourselves as to why we can't get on stage, why no one would listen to us. We don't speak well. We're too short. Oh, we need to lose weight. Oh, our hair is too curly. Our hair is too straight. We have a stutter. Oh, our topics, probably are not that good. Oh, I don't have a story to tell. If any of that sounds like you, well, then, my friend, this episode is for you. It is about excuse busting and confidence building, as I'm speaking with Norbert Elnar, who is a brand strategy coach and a speaker. And most importantly, he is someone who wasn't always confident. And now he is. He is able to get on stages and deliver messages that are powerful and insightful, not only from his podcast, but also from actual stages too. Norbert is a seasoned brand strategist, graphic designer, and thought leader in kingdom branding. With over a decade of experience bridging mainstream advertising with ministry, Norbert empowers entrepreneurs to build brands that tell compelling stories, resonate with their audiences, and achieve their God-given potential. And today he is bringing all of that wonderful, juicy magic to the Flourishing Entrepreneur podcast and to your ear holes as he helps guide you into your God-given potential by helping you get tangible tools to move past confidence barriers, stage fright, and a lack of self-esteem so that you can, in fact, get on stage and do really well and live out your purpose. All right, let's go.
Welcome to the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. If you're looking for actionable ways to overcome communication and differentiation challenges by sharing radically authentic stories, you are in the right place. Listen in and learn how to stand in the power of your unique narrative to transform your personal life, business, and workplace culture. And now, your host, award-winning international speaker, strategic storytelling consultant, and Japanese whiskey lover, Ruby Coral's mom, Alea Harris.
Hi, Norbert. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Flourishing Entrepreneur podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me, Alea.
It is my ultimate pleasure. I'm so excited that we get to learn from you and your story today. But before we do that, why don't you tell the people in like 2 or 3 sentences who you are and what you do?
Yes, my name is Norbert Elnar. I am born and raised in the Philippines, but now I live in Germany because I got married with a beautiful wife. And I do a lot of brand strategy, and I help businesses with their identity and help them grow.
I love that. That's my background as well. It's always great to talk to another brand strategist. So this is wonderful. But today we're talking about something a little bit closer to home.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about your story and how you use your story to build confidence. Because on stage, that one of the things, probably the number one thing that keeps people from being on stage is that they just don't feel like they can, or they don't feel really confident on the stage. Before you came into your own, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
and you were just starting out, how did it feel to be Norbert Elnar? Like, what was it like before you used your story to empower yourself?
It's crazy because honestly, the first time I remember I got the opportunity to actually do a legit public speaking is that I was asked to do like a preaching as a kid. I was 12. I was asked to preach in a traditional church on Father's Day. And like, imagine this little boy, standing behind the pulpit. They had to extend my seat so that I could really reach the microphone. And then before I got on stage, I heard one of the crew in the backstage and said like, why is he preaching? Isn't this a Father's Day? And I was I got distracted by that, and I was really like,
I bet, mean people. How dare they?
it was hard because like, oh man, like I'm a child, so that was really like traumatic for me. Although I was,
I'm sorry, Norbert. I am not a child. And if right before I got on stage, someone was like, why is she here? I would also have felt some kind of way about that.
yeah, oh man, that was I have yeah, that was the story. And then I really had a speech impediment before. I used to stutter a lot, so all my nerves, all those things, just at the point of sharing, and that's why I was really like, I felt like after that I will never go on stage and never do it again. And it made me question a lot of things about, I got excited, but then I felt like I was not really like appreciated. So you go through puberty and all these things, but then that's how I had to navigate. I had to constantly replay that scene in my head, but also overcome it in a way that, you know what, that cannot just be my story. That's something I could overcome and something I had to work through. And then yes, little by little I was able to discover more and really sort of like embrace my own voice at a certain point, and that's where I started to become a little bit more confident. But yeah, little by little.
How did you overcome that? Because at that age, that becomes like a core memory, like in the movie Inside Out, right? And how do you replace that core memory with something else? And what did you replace it with?
It's interesting because even at that point, I really had like, it was hard because it felt like, nobody, I understood it the way it is, but every time I got to replay it in my head, I always got an opportunity to speak somewhere. So I would get invited into like facilitate small groups, or even like, and in school I get to report, and I discovered that, hey, I actually love presenting. I love talking to people. I love connecting. It's almost like it's almost like I'm like, there's a different spirit that comes over me when I'm like, you know uh uh I'm speaking. So it made me realize that maybe that was not who I was. Like what they saw, they already prejudged me before I even had a chance. So this time, like, I would do what I can. I would do my best, and I get, because of my stutter, I get to practice a lot. Like I would like recite songs, or even like read aloud and talk to myself in the mirror a few times, and that gave me a little bit of confidence. And I think it really shifted for me when I went to South Africa, and I got like this, when you experience that whole change of your life, and everything in me was just like sort of like recalibrated, and I got a lot of people speaking into me, and they saw my gift, they saw my talent, and then there they gave me even a chance to speak. And Alea, for me, not being a first language English speaker, that's my insecurity. Like it makes me feel like, oh, I get the words wrong, or I don't know fancy words. Like my vocabulary is not that big.
It's okay. Most native English speakers don't know fancy words either. Our education system needs some work, Norbert.
Yeah, so that also plays a part of the confidence. And I think when I was in South Africa, I was given like, those little chances of like speaking for like 3 minutes on stage, or like this was the time where I got really sharpened in a lot of ways, and I got really comfortable in my own skin, and I have sort of like accepted it, that, you know what, the stage will call me in whatever form anyway. There's no point of not saying yes to it, but just being there for.
I really love that you said Yes. And I really love it also when you were talking about how you were going to not let someone else's prejudgment of you define who you are. So you could have said, I am a non-native English speaker with a stutter who doesn't deserve to be on stage.
Absolutely.
And
And
you could have
it's
let that run your life.
yeah, and at a certain point, it was my reality, and it held me back. So every time I got an opportunity, I would be like, that's awkward, and it takes time to warm up. And but that's why I've seen your stuff, and I heard your teaching, and this your simple practical tips really like calm the nerves and really help. So yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing your tips.
You're welcome. And the teaching that Norbert is talking about is in Spark the Stage. You can go to leahharris.com/spark. Um, you gotta take the shameless plugs when they come, Norbert. You gotta do it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So your story went from I don't deserve to be here to the stage is calling me. I'm going to embrace it. What story do you tell yourself now? And what goes through your head when you are on stage?
So every time I get the opportunity, I am reminded of my humble beginnings and how at at the first as the first glimpse of like that platform, I already disqualified myself. But now it's almost like I get to tell myself again that you know what, you don't have to know everything, you don't have to have it all, but people are interested to hear you say something. I I got this. There's a famous quote from John Maxwell that says, "The best message that you have is the one that you live." And to me, like a lot of people have resonated with my journey on how I uh, how I help brands and how I like moved countries and found my purpose and outworked that. And to me, that's something I really remind myself that somewhere in the crowd, someone who's listening in my podcast or whatever it is, it's also someone who's dreaming of overcoming that simple fear of just speaking. And hopefully I get to encourage and inspire that, hey, it's gonna be fine. Not gonna be perfect, but you're gonna be fine.
You don't need to be perfect. Perfection is never a requirement. And I feel inspired hearing you talk. If you had to give advice to someone now who is how you were when
Mm.
you were 12, but they are still feeling like that as an adult.
Oh,
They're still feeling like they don't deserve to be on that stage. They have a stutter. English isn't their first language. Do they have a story to tell? Who are they to be on this stage?
yes. I mean,
What advice would you give them?
well, to me, I always say that the signature of a masterpiece is excellence. And no matter what it is, no matter what kind of insecurity that you have an innate desire to excel. And nobody wakes up in the day and thinks that how I'm gonna fail today, like nobody thinks that. No,
No, I don't.
I hope nobody is listening to us who thinks like that. But like in those moments wherein we like talk badly to ourselves, or like loathe this insecurity, like I just I I I hope I could really impart to tell you that think of that excellence that's really in you already, because that will challenge you. It's not perfection, it's a constant progress of uh, becoming better from where you are, and slowly like embrace that excellence, because when you try to live a lifestyle of excellence, you become excellent. And yeah, the signature of a masterpiece is excellence. And like all masterpieces, it doesn't happen overnight. And sometimes it gets messy, sometimes you erase, sometimes there's a smudge, sometimes there's dirt. And it's fine because at the end of the day, it becomes like a beautiful masterpiece.
I love that, and I think that you are a masterpiece. What has jumping into your confidence in speaking allowed you to do so that people who are not quite there yet can see how someone who was just like them has used speaking to transform their life?
Oh wow, that's a very big question. I think to me, I would really say that when I'm presenting myself in a platform, whether it's whatever it is, I always remind of I'm always reminded of the responsibility of being responsible for the audience and how I carry myself, even if I'm really exhausted or tired. Like it doesn't matter. What matters is the value that I can um, give to people, and that value and the value is value regardless of how small or big it is, and who are you to judge that the value you're giving is small because what could be like your small story can resonate so big in the audience. So to me, I always know that I was invited there, I was placed there because I need to add value and I need to share that story because my story is going to bless someone, and that there is somebody waiting for me to hear that story, for them to be empowered and to be propelled into their future. It sounds very like cheesy, but it's that's really true. Like that's how I feel.
It doesn't sound cheesy to me. If it is, well, then I like my cheese shredded. I like a nice brie. I'll I'll take I'll take some goat cheese. Give me all the cheese because I think that you are speaking the truth, my friend. And not only are you speaking the truth, but one of the things that you said I adore. Who am I to judge the value that I provide? And that is absolutely right. And I've never thought about it like that before because I've always thought I come in and I own my value, I own my worth, I know what I'm delivering. But it is often the thing that I don't even think is valuable that someone will come up to me like, oh, I'm so glad you said this thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know that that was what you needed to hear. So you are absolutely right. Thank you for sharing that. Is
Yes.
there any final word of wisdom that you would love to leave our listeners with?
Wow. I think I always encourage my people uh, to really just be authentic and own your story. The story is like a fingerprint. Nobody has it like the way you do. Like it doesn't matter like how insignificant you think it is, because nobody has the same experience of living in your shoe. And I think that's really special because once we understand that, once we own our story, once we try to live our life like an artwork that is presented to the world, it paints a picture that people can resonate with, that people can be inspired, and people can actually be propelled into their futures. So I always I'm a person of faith, so I always believe that when we align our passions with a bigger purpose, it really unlocks a destiny that makes our own masterpiece live longer and bigger than us.
Beautiful words. Thank you, Norbert. If people want to hear more of your beautiful words, where can they do that? How can they connect with you?
Oh, thank you so much. Well, if you want to hear more words from me, yeah, I do host a podcast called Making a Masterpiece. The goal of our show is just very simple. It's to build your faith and inspire your business. And of course, we'd love to connect with you. You can always follow me on my social media accounts, and also join us in our community of like-minded professionals, business owners. You just go to masterpiece-business.com and would love to see you there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Norbert. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Alea. What an honor.
Well, I feel inspired. I don't know about you, but I feel like no excuse I have now makes any sense. If Norbert can do it, so can I. And I hope that that's how you feel as well, because the stage is calling you just like it is calling Norbert. And the call will only get louder and more strong and aggressive, maybe, until you heed the call. That's the way life works, because you, my friend, are meant to be on stage. If you need help getting on stage, I would love to help you. You can go to aleaharris.com/spark to sign up for a free strategy call where I can help plan out how to get you on stage and get you signed up for my program, Spark the Stage. Until next time, this is the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast. I am Alea Harris, and I'm wishing you lots of love, light, and abundance. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. Vibing with what you hear? Leave a 5-star review to spread the love, and be sure to click subscribe. We wish you love, light, and abundance. See you next time.